crafty friends, Jen Cassell here. I am back today with a tutorial for one of my favorite dies that came out for the July release over at Diva Designs, and that's the Boombox die set. I did design this for her, and this is my original one that you've already seen. This is the one that we're going to be doing today. Love, love, love. This is a super, super easy project to put together, so stay tuned for that. Now, I do have a special announcement. I am doing another Cricut workshop. This is designed and geared more towards beginner level. However, anyone can take something away from this workshop. So each of the participants are kind of taking a different aspect of design space and breaking it down for you. And we'll be doing, it's literally design space to done. You'll be doing the entire project from start to finish. Now, I am doing fonts. So everyone knows that I do the fonts for Erica. Like, fonts are kind of my thing. I love them. So in this workshop, I'm going to be teaching you all of the ins and outs of using fonts in Design Space, everything from bringing over fonts from other areas into Design Space, how to use them, and we're actually going to be creating an SVG file from start to finish. So what you're going to end up with is the shaker tag. So this shaker tag, we're going to be doing, how I did the fonts, how I'm kerning the fonts to make sure that they all go together, how all of my little tips for using the fonts in Design Space. You're going to get that from me at this workshop. So it will be a valuable workshop. You can have a free ticket. However, if you decide to upgrade to the VIP ticket, you get so much more value. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. I'm going to leave all of the info in the description box. There'll be direct links to the workshop for the VIP ticket. And I'll be doing another video directly on this, but stay tuned, check that out. If you're new to Design Space or just want to brush up the basics, or you don't feel like you use your Cricut enough, this workshop is for you. You won't want to miss it. I'll be doing a separate video a little later on, and we'll be talking of all the ins and outs. So stay tuned for that. Now, for the Boombox gift box, obviously we are going to be using the Boombox from the July release over at Diva Designs. Feel free to use my coupon code GEN10 to save at the shop. I super, super appreciate everyone who uses my coupon code and affiliate link. We're also going to be using, I used the new, this is the shaker guitar that came out this month as well. And then I did, for the sides of my box, you have a couple different options. I know that this is a really hot die right now, so I wanted to try that because a lot of people have it, and it was on my desk. So I actually used the boggy bag for this as well. So I used the boggy bag sides and base for this box here. I used, this is just the box making strips for this one right here. So totally up to you. You'll just, I'll explain it when we get around to it. And then I also use, this is the 80s and 90s word set, the Totally Rad. And then I have some nesting stars up here, also from Diva Designs. Now let's talk about the paper, because everyone loved this paper. These are actually Creative Fabrica papers. Both of these are Creative Fabrica papers. So I ended up using that rainbow cheetah on the interior of this one too. This one I did not do an interior piece. Totally up to you. You don't have to. And then so is this. And I will link them in the description box for you. Now, my neon papers. So actually, 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop has a great selection of neon papers that you should totally check out. This is all 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop with the exception of my printed papers from Creative Fabrica. So the neon papers, and I will leave them too, and I do have my coupon code Gen C15 for you. Their neon papers come in just your regular cardstock. This is a smooth cardstock, as well as neon glitter cardstock, which you can see in here as well. This teal that I use, that is actually part of their neon cardstock. And I know it's not the first time you've seen me do it because it's a very unique glitter cardstock. I haven't seen very many teal glitter cardstocks out there, and it's really kind of the perfect shade. Um, this cardstock that I use right here, this is not part of the neon. This is actually Tropical Splash from the Encore textured line that they have, which is honestly one of my new favorite teals as well. I've been using a lot here. Let me show you. So teal and pink are my absolute favorite colors to work with. I do try to incorporate, one or two of the colors in most of my projects. So I have been doing, these are actually two of the newer tones from 12 by 12. This is the Tropical Splash, and you've been seeing a lot of the Aquamarine Fizz from me as well. But these are kind of like my two favorite teals, and I love how they pair together as well. I've also used, let me see, their Fountain, which, I mean, it's a really pretty, this is like more of a greeny teal, but I use this during the holidays. This is kind of like one of my favorite go-to, like light blue tealish colors for like Mintay and all of those other ones. Okay, so now for the pinks that I use. So if we're looking at something darker, I love, this is one of the new ones, Pink Azalea, and then Hot Pink has been my standard hot pink for quite some time. The Pink Azalea is pretty new, actually. So these are my two like go-to hot pinks. And then if we're looking for more like medium pinks, I have a tendency to go through the Malibu Coral a lot, the Dragon Fruit, and the Party Pink. So that's how it looks like when it's textured. And then for my lighter pinks that I use, I really like the Princess Pink and the Pink Champagne. So this one I have a tendency to use. These two, honestly, I have a tendency to use more during like the winter seasons and stuff. And then these brighter pinks are what I go for during, more like spring, summertime, that sort of thing. But if you were wondering if, I like knowing all the details. I do. So, and I love answering questions about cardstock because paper is my favorite. So, all right, if you are interested in seeing a tutorial on how I created these boxes, stay tuned. So to form your box, you're going to need 4 of the Boombox pieces itself, and then I've already added the layering pieces on top of them. So all 4. This is what I'm using for the outside of my box. This is what I'm using for the interior of my box. And then I have these here, and these are the boggy bag pieces that I'm using. So I have 2 of the sides, and then I have 1 of the base layers. And I went ahead and I already glued down this edge. This is going to be the top of our box, so it just creates a sturdier piece. I did go ahead and add some additional tabs to it as well. I just cut these. You could also use the box making strips for this. I just happen to have these handy, so I use them. And I have added the layering pieces on, but I did not glue down the bottom on the bottom side. So this is going to be the top of our side. This is going to be the bottom. And I did not attach that layering piece at the bottom because we're going to want to be able to slide underneath. You can wait and put your layering pieces on afterwards. It's totally up to you. So what you're going to want to do, I am starting with my 2 interior pieces for this. And it does help to kind of work on a grid for this. So I am just putting mine up to the 1-inch section here, and you're going to measure over 1 inch and then do your mark. Same thing with this one here. I'm lining up that handle and then just hitting that 1 inch right here. This is where you're going to start your box making strips or your sides essentially. So 1 inch, and then I'm going to come over and once again 1 inch. All right, and I flipped it over to the side that you're not going to see. So I've already started manipulating these sides a little bit so that it has the curve, and you are going to start right at that little mark on the edge that you folded over. So this is where your strip is going to start. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a little hot glue for this, just to give it that instantaneous bond. I'm going to use regular glue for the rest of it, but that makes sure everything is nice and secure for it. Now I'm going to come over and add some liquid glue to all of my tabs. Flip it over and then just run it along the edge. It's going to be very helpful to have your bone folder handy for this. Make sure that that stays right along the edge here. Grab your other one. Once again, we're working with the edge that we folded over. Add a tiny bit of hot glue to your tab and start it right where our mark is. Go ahead and add glue to all our tabs. And like I said, you can use the box making strips for this. This would be another idea. Now, before we add on our additional layering piece, now we can come over here and we're going to need about 2 3/4 worth of this. I'm not using the whole thing. So go ahead. I'm just going to do it like this. So 2 3/4. Measure out. You want it right about there. Okay. Grab our scissors and cut down that line. Create a better tab. Okay. And now we can just come over and add this right in the middle to create that bridge. So I've added a little bit of glue to the sides here, and those are just going to slip right under the pattern paper pieces that we left room for. And you can run another pattern paper piece all along this if you'd like. You're really not going to see a whole lot of it, so I'm going to skip that myself. And then I'm going to come over with this piece. So this is my other interior piece. I'm flipping it so that the pattern paper is on the interior. And then once again, I'm going to use a little hot glue and just put that one here. And then once again, just add glue to all of your tabs and just go ahead and pop your piece in there. I'm going to make sure that this lines. And then just flip it over. I'm going to take the time to glue the rest of my pattern paper pieces down for the sides. So now it's just a matter of gluing your panels on at this point. I'm going to use some liquid glue for this. So I'm going to glue my panels on and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what you should have at this point. I have also done these. These are included with your die set as well. So your speakers are going to come in 3 pieces. So this is what I did with mine. You can make these shakers as well. You would just want to cut out an additional one of these as your acetate layer and then pop it behind these two. So this is 2 separate pieces here. You have the shaker in the middle, and then you have this crosshatch in here. And I've just went ahead and glued those together. I did go ahead, I just used some foamies and I went all the way around. Um, I liked how this turned out because these are pretty tall foamies and you can see quite a bit of them. So I ended up just going all the way around for this instead of doing like individual foam, like squares or something. So just pop that right on top. And I found the easiest way to do this is to put your speakers on first. Make sure that those are lined up on the sides properly, that you have, I like mine centered, so I want to make sure that there's an even amount of like distribution at the sides. So I'm just going to use liquid glue for this. And then this is the tape deck right here. And I did make this one a shaker. So you get 2 pieces to your tape deck. You get this one right here, and then you get this one, your back piece. And then I just used, I have this really cool star acetate from 12 by 12 that I used on the interior. And then these really fun, like neonish clay pieces. So once again, I'm just going to use liquid glue. I like using liquid glue for this because you have a little bit of wiggle room to make sure that everything is even for you. So this, I'm going to make sure that it's even in between my 2 speakers, but I'm going to pull it up more towards the top. I want that yellow to really peek out. And then this is your like buttons and everything. So I did cut these a couple of times and layered them with some foam in between the layers. And then I used this really fun tealy cardstock from 12 by 12 to layer it. So that's my little tape deck here. I think it turned out super, super cute. But I do have a few things that I've pulled that I'm going to use to decorate it. So let's do a little layering in here. So I did the Totally Rad from the 80s and 90s work. I cut the base piece out of my absolute favorite cardstock. This is the glitter sequin cardstock from 12 by 12. And then I cut the Totally Rad a total of 3 times. So I have 2 of the teal and then 1 of the pink. And then I just slightly shifted them so you get a bit of a shadow on there. And then I recut this with the yellow glitter cardstock as well. So that's how I did that. And then this is the smaller of the guitars from the guitar shaker set. I did not do mine as a shaker just because this is going to be a layering piece. Like I've already got a shaker in there. That's why I didn't do it. But I think it turned out so stinking cute. And then this, I have a nesting star set from Scrap Diva. This came out a little while ago. And the nesting star has this. So it cuts it so that you have a really thin layer around it, and then you have the interior right here. I'm only using the outline, and then I did it again, and now I'm just using the center of it. And I wanted that outline so that it could kind of do this. Something like this. And then I was going to add this here. And then I'll add my guitar like that with the Totally Rad right here. So that is my design. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not attaching it in all spots. I'm just, yeah, something like that. Okay. And then I do want to lift this up a bit. Do this right here. Okay. And then I'm going to put this guy here. That is cute. Okay, there we go. So cute. Easy project too. Love this. This would make a great mini album too. I could totally see it as a mini album. Just a fun little die set. Totally rad, one may say. So let's take one more look at my original. So stinky cute. I love this. Ah, completely different. Adorable. So, so, so cute. And lots of room too. This is a pretty roomy one. So about 7.5. And then I did 2.5 for this. So nice and roomy. Very, very cool. So thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you try this fun little design out. Don't forget to head on over to the shop and check out the July release. It is just so cute. I love this release. Who doesn't love the 80s? This is great. Um, and if you like what you see and if I've inspired you, feel free to use my coupon code GEN10 to save. I super, super appreciate it. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments and I will get to them as soon as possible. Make sure to check out the Design Space to Done workshop. I will leave all of the info in the description box as well. Grab your free ticket. That's, and if you decide you can upgrade to the VIP. We'll be doing some fun projects. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button for more crafty content. I'll see you in the next crafty video. Bye!